Hey everybody, this is 22 Tiger Dude and welcome to Animation Domination Reviews. Let's start it off with the Simpsons episode, Yellow Subterfuge. So Yellow Subterfuge is about when Principal Skinner promises the students that if they are very well behaved, he's going to take the most well behaved students on a ride, the submarine. So Bart is willing to be good just to go ride on the submarine. And it turns out that Principal Skinner lied to Bart in his face and embarrassed the poor little troubled kid. So, guess what? Homer and Bart, they team up to have revenge on Principal Skinner. Meanwhile, Lisa tries to help Krusty the Clown turn things around by suggesting to sell his foreign rights to his shows. Yellow Subterfuge is a really good episode. It's just so much fun to watch. It's well written, it's very funny, and it's just really creative to watch. I liked the whole Bart and Homer teaming up to get revenge on Principal Skinner after Principal Skinner backstabbed Bart, which was messed up, by the way, like holy shit. And the plot with Lisa helping out Krusty the Clown, I thought that was just as awesome as the main plot. There was some funny moments to it. In my opinion, the only flaws I do have with this episode is that the first half is a little boring. I still really enjoyed the first half, but the second half of the episode was where I was just like more invested in it. I was having more fun with it. Plus what Principal Skinner did was pretty messed up. Their prank on him, that was definitely the funniest moment. And of course how his mom is involved in the whole prank, that was highly entertaining. I loved how throughout this episode they would play the Django theme song, reference the theme song. I just thought it was very funny. I would get happy every time they would play the Django theme song. So that was definitely a little something for us Western fans. Overall, Yellow Subterfuge, fantastic. A little better in the second half, but overall, I just really can't complain. I'm going to give this episode a really good 9 out of 10. Now I am here to review the Bob's Burgers episode, Bob and Deliver. So this episode is about when Bob becomes a substitute teacher for Tina's home ec class at her school. Because of that, Linda is left at the restaurant all alone, and also while she's running the restaurant on her own, she teaches Teddy how to dance, at least have good enough dance moves. And Tina, she tries to blend in with Bob because Bob is teaching at her home ec class, but Bob seems to be ignoring Tina. And Louise and Jean, they're working for the school's restaurant. This episode really surprised me. This is definitely one of the most enjoyable episodes of this season. It's really well written. I was laughing a lot during this episode, smiling a lot. I just thought the overall storytelling behind it was just really awesome. I really enjoyed the plot of Bob just teaching Tina's home ec class, how they didn't have any interest, and how Bob found a way to make those kids interested in actually cooking and just make cooking so much fun. I thought overall, even though it was a little silly, I bought into the silliness. The silliness worked for the storyline in my opinion. My only flaw with this episode is that Bob was a jerk to Tina. I didn't like how he treated Tina. The ending gets a little too preposterous, a little shoehorned. And Louise does get a little annoying. It's got a really good storyline. It's got nice heart in the end. There's a lot of funny moments. One of the most enjoyable episodes this season. So I am going to give this episode a very high 9 out of 10. Now I am here with my guest star.
It seems today that all you... Oh, sorry. Hey, it's 85358. How's it going, Tiger Dude?
Going good, man. Welcome to Animation Domination Reviews.
Yes.
And he will be just reviewing the Family Guy episode me called Into Harmony's Way. So, Into Harmony's Way is about when Peter and Quagmire become a singing, songwriting team after a bee helps them discover their talent.
A bee. A bee. I don't believe that at all.
Wow. But yeah, that is unfortunately the plot. But with the weird plot aside, I gotta say that I actually had a very fun time with Into Harmony's Way. I think it's a very well made Family Guy episode, and I think it's very well written.
I agree. It's one of those lesser episodes with the less fart jokes, and I like that this is going to a more mature way of saying it, without the stereotypical Peter Griffin's flashbacks. It was more of a very in-depth story, kind of like the ideas you see in films like Walk the Line, or films about music. I like that they took the liberty of giving these two characters who we've known so long from the beginning, good old fat old Peter Griffin, it's Peter, and the sex hound Quagmire, alright, as they're making
Yeah,
a love song.
yeah, Peter and Quagmire, they really are good as singers. Like all the scenes where they were singing their songs, they were catchy. I was actually kind of dancing in
Credit
my
card dead,
couch,
credit card dead.
all happy up and down, sitting my couch. It just makes me so happy. I love the scenes with the songs. What about you? What do you think of the scenes in their songs, dude?
The songs were very good. They were very happy, folksy, uppity songs you hear from the 1960s or 70s. Similar to things like the Little River Band, or bands like maybe like the Steve Young Band. Similar to those kind of old folksy tunes. And it really brings me back to, of this good feeling, except the one where he and Lois sang, and it doesn't remind me of that song at all, if you recall what I mean.
I know what you mean. But I really enjoyed their journey. There were a lot of funny moments in the
Oh,
episode.
it was. I can't
Oh,
remember all of them.
I love the scene where they appeared on Conan's show because I am a huge fan of Conan. I love watching his talk show, and the fact that he guest starred in his episode was just really funny.
It
And I
was.
wish that scene was longer. That's pretty much the way I should describe it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Tiger, dude. It was interesting to see Conan O'Brien have his show to be modernized, which is good. And plus to talk about the band like a real band. I mean, look at all these bands when they go on talk shows like Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel, I know he's not much into it, or Jimmy Fallon. Oh yeah. It's sad that he had to leave the Tonight Show. He's going to late night though. Yay!
With Jay Leno retiring.
Okay, let's have Bubblehead. Let's have fun. Sorry. Poor Jay. Going back to the episode. I enjoyed the comedy, the writing, the pacing was very good. And then we get to understand that Quagmire and Peter are not just friends. They're a good singing duo. Some can write very good songs and melodies that fit the songs. Very well done. And it's good to know that Seth MacFarlane does the both voice of good old Peter and the sex hound Quagmire. It's good that he can musically shift from one voice to another. It's just art in itself, man.
I agree, dude. In terms of flaws, the only flaws I do have with this episode is that I thought it was messed up for Peter and Quagmire to just dump Mort like that. It's like
I know.
Mort does all these things for them, and they just like dump him like a piece of trash. I didn't appreciate that. I do think they were a little bit of jerks, and I also didn't like how all of a sudden the ending comes to their feud, and then like 3 minutes later they make up, and for some freaking odd reason they kiss each other. Like what the hell? Oh my
I'm glad Cleveland wasn't around for that. Stay in school, Ben, Peter, from Cleveland.
Cleveland will be back soon, though, dude. He will. And it was a little boring in a few parts, but
I agree.
overall, I really liked this episode.
Can I let Cleveland say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, I enjoyed the film. I don't like Quagmire kissing that damn Peter Griffin. Daddy, you should say nothing about Peter. He's a nice man. I know, Cleveland Jr. I want to give myself a review. You know what I want to give this Tiger Dude? I give it a 5 out of 5 because I love being respectable.
And I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Very well made. Just had a lot of fun watching it.
Agreed. See ya.
I am Solo again, and I'm here to review the final premiere of Animation Domination, American Dad, which is called Faking Bad. I love Breaking Bad, one of the best television shows I've ever seen. Haley and Steve team up to make fake IDs. Well, Steve is actually in charge of making the fake IDs, and Haley's just in charge of giving it to the other kids that need fake IDs. But things go terribly wrong when Stan is on the hunt for the fake ID maker. This was an alright American Dad episode. It's not the best. It definitely could have been a whole lot better. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It is a well-made episode. There is some funny moments. There are some clever moments to the whole Steve making the fake ID, the plot of Stan trying to track down who the fake ID maker is, but he's not quite sure who it is. I enjoyed those aspects. But the biggest problems I had with this American Dad episode was that Haley was very irritating. I hated the way she just kept calling Steve a loser. She repeatedly says that. Even the very end of this episode, the final line was, "What a loser," or something like that. I was also bored by this episode as well, and I thought some of the jokes fell flat. I really enjoyed the Bart Simpson cameo in this episode. That was hilarious. Roger was surprisingly really entertaining in this episode, but how this episode comes together overall, it is really enjoyable. It's not great. It's not an episode I could watch again personally. I honestly don't have that much to say about this episode. I could just say it's just okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm going to give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. Thank you J53518 for guest starring in this Animation Domination to review Family Guy with me. It was his first time doing it. That was so cool. If you guys want to check out his channel, I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description below.